In my previous video, I spoke about a little bit of background on what I actually do in the workplace. I also gave you guys a bit of detail as well in terms of my mentality when it comes to a job. This has been a mentality that I have been building and cultivating for the past 5 years, or probably almost 7 years. I gave a lot of detail in there that I really think is useful and helpful. So if you haven't watched that video as yet, I really want to encourage you to go back and watch that video first before you get into today's video. Today we're going to be talking about how I actually got unemployed, and it's important for me to help you understand how I got into this job first, because there's also a lot of lessons for you to learn from that journey as well. Soon after finishing my master's degree, I applied for a job. I went for this interview. They got me on board, and I was so grateful to God because if you are a foreign national, the first job that you actually work on, or the first few jobs that you work on, are usually jobs that are not in alignment with your degree program. A lot of times foreign nationals have to settle and get a job that they didn't even go to school for, or something that pays them so much less than what they're actually qualified for. But by the grace of God, I actually got a job that was the actual thing that I went to school for. So I got a job as a cost accountant. And for you to understand why I then left the job, I would have to explain to you the mentality that I had entering into the job, which I really believe is going to be useful for some of you that are watching right now. One of the mentalities that I had entering into this job was that I wanted this job to give me as much experience as I possibly could seep out of the job. The job on its own was something remuneration-wise less than what I was actually qualified for. So I kind of had to settle and take the job, use the job to gain as much work experience as possible, and I gave myself a year to do it. So one of the things that I want to encourage you when you're entering into the workplace is that have the mentality of setting a goal. Ask yourself what this job is supposed to do for you in your career path. What is it supposed to achieve? And for me, it was supposed to give me a year's worth of experience. I really also wanted that job to help me to find people that were also in the same line of career as I was, and also get to just observe them and learn from them, and possibly hopefully get a mentor in the process. So because this was so important to me, the money was not important at that time. I remember writing down in my journal that God, this is a year of work and establishment. I was going to work. I didn't care how much money I was going to get. I wanted to be established, and I wanted to gain the work experience that was necessary. One of the things that I also wanted this job to do for me was to help me to get a permanent residence in South Africa. And I needed a job to be able to actually apply for a permanent residence. This job was needful. So once again, that's the beauty about writing down things on a piece of paper, and like taking a journal and saying to yourself, what is the thought process? What's my thinking? Why do I believe that this job is valuable for me? Because something might not be financially important at that point, or financially beneficial, or you could get something better financially, but because you need that job to be able to accomplish certain things that you need to accomplish in a career, then that job is needful. One of the things that I really wanted this job to do for me as well was to help me learn a lot of things about the work environment. And I was very intentional getting into this job to make sure that I was really building myself up as a professional. I signed up for an e-course by a lady called Anna Runian. I'm going to link her website in the description box below. She had a free e-course in which she was basically teaching young professionals on how to handle themselves when they enter into the workplace, the things you should ask, the things that you should be careful about. And she does business courses pretty much. And I made sure that I signed up for her mailing list. So she would send emails, and I would be very intentional about opening them up and reading up as much as I possibly could on how to just conduct myself in the workplace. Anna's business is called The Classy Career Girl, and shout out to you, Anna, for really helping me to settle down in the workplace. It was such a powerful tool to have, to be able to always open up my emails and get some form of encouragement, and somebody hooting for you, who's saying, hey, I know you just entered the workplace, but you're not alone. There are millions of other women, young women out there in the world who are right there where you are currently in your journey. Because I'm also an accountant, I signed up for, once again, another free skill learning course. And it's really a website that has a lot of resources when it comes to working with Excel spreadsheets. And that was very helpful for me because I worked with a lot of numbers, I worked with a lot of data, I worked with a lot of spreadsheets. And even though my Excel skills were just intermediate, helping myself by going back home and doing some homework on how to do certain things, really helped me. So I don't know what profession you're in. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be a journalist, you could be, I don't know what it is that you do. Could be a marketer and in advertisement. Make sure that you look for websites that have free resources. So the reason why I'm sharing all of this with you is for you to understand that entering into the workplace, I had a goal, and it was time specific. I told myself the goal is to get all this skill, all this knowledge, all this information, all of these connections, and all of these papers sorted out within a year. And I was determined to make sure that I did the work that was necessary for it to happen, and to make sure that I processed all the documentation in that time span. And when the year was finished, I was ready to go. Ready, family. I was ready to go. So I sat down with my immediate boss, and I pretty much said I was not going to sign a permanent contract, and thank you so much for all the amazing work that you have given me the opportunity to be able to learn, and I was grateful for the experience. And it was just a beautiful meeting with him in which I expressed that I was not going to be staying, and I went home. One of the things that I would like you, as well as you're watching, to do, if you have the control over your unemployment or the process through which you get unemployed, is to plan for what you're going to be doing during that space and during that time in which you're going to be unemployed. For myself, I thought that I was going to be unemployed for a month or two at the most, but I ended up getting to stay at a home for a full 5 months. Now here's this next leg of planning that you also need to do. You've got to prepare for that transition. You've got to ask yourself, what am I going to be doing when I'm at home? Planning is going to avoid anxiety. Planning is going to avoid a lot of free space in which you can worry. Planning is going to avoid a lot of opportunities for you to get depressed, to start comparing yourself with other people, and just to be literally dormant and not doing anything, which is the breeding ground for the enemy's lies to come and to start attacking you. So one of the things that I did was to make sure that I had some Wi-Fi at home. I made sure that I had enough money to always constantly be paying for my Wi-Fi, because I wanted to make sure that I was connected to YouTube, getting inspiration from a lot of other YouTubers on this journey that I was on, which was, the season of unemployment. But not only just for that, but also to keep updating stuff on the channel. And I remember in that space, I was uploading quite a lot of stuff during those 5 months, because I actually had the time to catch up with a few of the friends that you haven't caught up with in a long time. It's so funny because when you're unemployed, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but there was a portion of me that really didn't want to reach out to specific people in terms of my friendship base, because I just felt like it would look like I'm only contacting them because I don't have anything to do, which is very weird and very odd. And I think that it was a lie from the enemy, but you could be going through this as well. Just reach out to family, reach out to your aunts, reach out to your uncles, reach out to your nieces, spend time with them on WhatsApp, check up on people that you haven't checked up on. Use that opportunity to reconnect and rebond with the people that you genuinely care about. something that I wish that I had done back in that time was to also, and I think I did it at the very end, was to plan a specific amount of time in a day to do applications. So I was doing a lot of online applications, and at the end of my journey I ended up using 3 agents to look for work for me. So they would literally bring opportunities to me, and then I would choose what I wanted to go for interviews for. But at the very beginning I would just apply. I'll just go online and look for employment opportunities for myself and do the applications for myself, right? And sometimes I'll do it for the full day. I'll just like be stuck on a laptop, applying. Take that time, say to yourself, I'm gonna apply to 10 jobs today, and I'm going to do it in between 10 in the morning and 12:30 in the afternoon. And after that, I'm gonna take a book, I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna watch a couple of series, I'm gonna watch a movie, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna do some self-care, I'm gonna light up a candle, I am going to listen to one of my favorite sermons, I'm gonna do some Bible study. Make sure that you have a variety of things that you're doing in your routine. So create a routine and plan a routine for yourself that is going to work for you and help you be very intentional with not only just planning, but having that balance between planning and actually living life. Because this is 5 months of your journey, 5 months of your life. You need to make sure that you are using it to the best of your capacity, and you have that balance in that journey. During this season, because I genuinely really have to be grateful for this. I'm one of those people that have the beautiful privilege to not only be working in a career and, you know, building up this career, but I also have purpose. I have something that I get emotional talking about this, but I have something that I could literally just like die for, and something that I've given my life to, something that makes me so happy, so excited. I have an outlet apart from my work space and my work life, and that is my channel, that is my 2 books, Hosting Heaven and the Study Guide, that is my planner. So I have this other life that I have, and this other brand that I'm growing and nurturing, and it's like a baby to me. So finally I had an opportunity to do a Cape Town book launch of my Hosting Heaven journey, and I did that. What a great success. I had a great time, and not only did I just do that, but I started to work on my planner as well during these 5 months. And that's why I almost feel like sometimes when you're unemployed, God has an agenda for you to pursue and to grow and to really invest time in some of the spaces that you might have been neglecting that are really important when it comes to what God wants for your destiny. So I used that time as wisely as I could to push the channel, to push my books, and to also push the planner that recently got launched. If you don't have a planner, the link is going to be in the description box below. You need to get yourself a planner. I actually took the opportunity to also start using my own planner as well, and I took a group of professionals and a group of women and gave them the planner to use it before I launched it. And one of the things that I'm super grateful for that is in my 2019 House of Hosting Heaven planner is the bucket list, because I took that bucket list and I used it to write all these things that I wanted to do that didn't need a lot of money, and I started to do those things while I was unemployed. So I'm grateful that I got an opportunity to actually start experiencing and living life in this season that could have potentially just been a lot of worrying and a lot of depression. It's time that you actually have to use to pray, to stand at the gap, to really enrich your relationship with God. So do not take it as a dead sentence. Take it as time to invest in yourself. So I asked a lot of you guys different questions that you felt that you wanted me to tackle in this, let's just call it a series, because you know it's a few videos. So I want to handle and answer some of those questions that you guys asked me about my journey in this 5 months. Some of you were asking how I felt. Wasn't I depressed? Some of you were asking how I paid my rent. Some of you were asking how I was able to do all these things that I was doing, the Hosting Heaven book launch, how I was able to do a lot of different things in this season. And I want to be able to do a video which is more of answering those questions and answers, so join me quickly as I'm going to be tackling some of those questions that you guys asked me, and let's get somebody out there who is currently unemployed encouraged. Let's get them thinking strategically. Let's get them thinking intentionally, and let's get them back on track, and let's get them investing in their spiritual journeys, because that, as you're going to see in my next video, is such a powerful and important thing for you to do as you are waiting for God to bless you with a job. So see you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Click that red button. Invite a friend to watch this video, because it's such a powerful tool for them to be able to get a new perspective on their current season of unemployment. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video.